Up in the concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in the concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in the concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in the concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in the concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in the concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Yeah, grew up in the concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in the concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in a concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in a concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in a concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in a concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in a concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in a concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in a concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in a concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in a concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the saw the yeah, grew up in a concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze.
What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to the Mets Roundtable podcast right here on my channel, Hector's channel, and Chris's channel. Welcome to the best hour on YouTube. We are going to introduce each and every one of our crew and the Roundtable guys in just a second, but we got a sweep of the San Diego Padres, a 5-1 homestand, and the hottest team in baseball, and is our New York Mets. So make sure you hit on that like button and make sure, guys, we all have all positive thoughts today because it's going to be an awesome stream We're going to have a lot of fun today. All positivity. Last one was kind of negative, kind of positive. We ain't throwing any negativity on this show tonight because we are excited. We are pumped. And we finally scored runs at home, which most of us were dying for. And right now, we are going to first start up with our boy Hayden, and we're going to pop him in right now. Hayden, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Mets Talk with Hayden here. Hope everyone's doing well. I have a Mets hat on. I know, very, very historic. I figured 5-game win streak. They've been playing phenomenal. I figured I may as well also have Grimace as the background just for some good mojo. Why not? But yeah, good to be here, and hopefully everyone's doing well. And yeah, very satisfied with the current play of the Mets lately. Not gonna lie, they made me eat some of my own words, and they've really surprised me. So I think this will be a great stream as per always.
Absolutely. And heck in the comments saying about the time with the hat. Hey, listen, it takes a 5-game winning streak to get that Expo hat and that Boston hat and that Twins hat, whatever other hat he was wearing. Finally, he got that Met hat on. It only took a couple of wins, guys. That's great. That's great to see. And hey, listen, look, we've all been through it. Young, old, in between. We've all been through the fire with this team. From ups and downs, downs and ups and downs, side to side. They've been throwing us around like a ping pong ball. But guess what? Hayden's excited. I'm excited. And this guy's excited who just popped in right now. And it is Chris. And we know who that guy is. He missed the pre and post. He had some things to do. And I know he is ready to talk about our Mets. Chris, what's up, buddy?
Holy shit. I'm sorry I'm late. I apologize. I thought I had enough time to run some last minute errands and that backfired. But I love the intro, love the 10-minute countdown, and I love our New York Mets. Whew, that felt good to say. We haven't said that enough so far this season. Sorry I missed the pregame and the postgame. It's Sunday, a lot of errands to run. Very busy man today, but nonetheless, we have some great stuff to talk about. A 6-game homestand where our New York Mets went 5-1. There's really nothing else that we can sit here and say in terms of critiquing points. We wanted 4-2, bare minimum, at least I did. We got 5-1 with cherry on top. What a time to be a Mets fan. And gaining ground on the wild card, which nobody wants to talk about, but we will talk.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, we're going to talk to one of the guys that we're going to introduce last, but we're going to talk a little bit before we introduce him to talk about what's been happening. He's the only one in Queens right now, getting the atmosphere, feeling the vibes as we get it from different parts of the country. You know, we got someone in the DMV, someone Florida, someone in the Carolinas, and Heck is the one chilling in North Carolina, New York, excuse me, and enjoying the New York vibes and how he's feeling right now. And we love the background right now. He's got the playoff towels in the background with Heck. So I know the vibes are there right now. We're feeling it. And now we're going to introduce the man of the hour that everybody's been waiting for. He's very popular on X, guys. Make sure of that. So here we are. Everybody's been waiting for him. Nobody cares about us. They care about Heck. Here we go, guys. Hector, what is up, baby? What is up?
Who we talking about here? I know you're talking about me.
Yeah, you know
what's
about
up? It's these New York Mets, baby. That's what's up. Listen, I'm excited and I'm bummed out at the same time. I wanted to have some fun, right? So I'm a rookie to this stuff. I don't know what we cannot do. I was gonna come out here. Listen, this team has me singing. You guys showed me the other day. I'm walking out the stadium. I'm singing. You know what I'm saying? So I was gonna play the nice Mets win song. You know, got me in the New York groove. And Rob bust my bubble at the beginning of the show and says, "Nah, you can't do that." I'm like, man, that's a bummer. But no, man, I'm excited. I'm happy to see Hayden with the damn Mets hat. I'm listening and I'm watching the game. And then full disclosure, I'm watching the game in the car as I'm working because I'm not a dad. So I'm going to go take advantage of all the dads that have to go do their daddy duties today, right? And get celebrated. And I'm going to go work because there's not that many of us out there. So it was a good day. And I'm watching the game. And then for some reason, I don't know what it is, what's up with picks, and knocks me out. Says I'll read you. Like, what the hell? That's just what it's supposed to be for. That's why I'm not getting in with my cable signing. Anyways, and back in the chat that we have, we're chopping it up. And the Padres make a little run, and Hayden starts talking his stuff. And I'm like, I'm gonna kill this kid. If he comes in there with the wrong hat tonight, I'm out of this stream. So glad to see my boy Hayden with the Mets hat. But no, man, guys, as you can see, I'm excited. I'm ready to go. And I don't know if you can really see them, but yeah, I took the 2022. I just taped it up here, bootleg, because yeah, these Mets, for different reason, right? For a different reason than 2022, where we were excited, where we thought we had a team, even though the season ended, like, what the hell is going on? But we were excited. It was like, wow, these Mets. Well, this year is more like these Mets. They're driving us freaking crazy, but we're on a high right now. We're gonna enjoy it. Let's go, baby.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what, Hector, you said it. They've been winning in every way possible. One day it's the pitching that's doing their job. One day it's the offense. One day it could be both. But everybody, they're winning in so many different ways. And those are signs of a good team. And by the way, and I said this on the pre and post, the New York Mets, there's not a lot of good teams out there or bad teams. If you consider the Mets a bad team, you still do, right? There's a trajectory for this team. They still got time to be much better. But not a lot of bad teams have 2 hot streaks like the Mets have had in 3 months. Like, that's a fact, right? 12-15 after the 0-5, and now 11 out of 15. 2 hot streaks in 3 months. Now, their lows are bad, but if they can control that very, very low and have about an average after their hot streak, they're right where they need to be. They're a game and a half out of the wild card. Heck, I know you don't like to look at it, but there's only 36 games before the deadline, and that's all that matters to the front office.
We can look at whatever you want now, brother. We can look at whatever you want. Doesn't matter.
Absolutely. And listen, guys, look, it was an awesome sweep, right? I know the Diekman wanted to give the game away. I mean, he must have bet on the game or something. He must have put the Padres money line at like plus 700 or something like that, and he had to throw that ball to center field, which, I mean, all of us were like, uh-oh. we all had that uh-oh moment again, like, oh, no, not come on. But you know what? This is not the May Mets. This is the June Mets. It isn't a June swoon. It is a June boom. I didn't make that up. That was somebody in the chat. I forgot who it was.
Call it? A June what? A what?
June boom.
June boom. That works for me.
I take that every day of the week. So the Mets sweep the Padres 2-1, 5-1, 11-6. And you know what impressed me? Today impressed me more than any other game. Right? The 5-1 victory, nice. 2-1 victory, right? Beautiful. But that, because it got close and the Padres were creeping closer and closer. And then it was 7-6, and we're like, oh, here we go. Diaz coming in. We don't know if he's all the way back yet, but, man, I was a little worried. But no, don't worry about it. Everybody came through. Got a couple of extra runs, 4 extra runs, make it basically a blowout once again. And we had an easy go of it in the 9th inning. So, Hayden, I'm going to start with you. I know we've all been down on the Mets, right? It's hard to continue the optimism. The pessimistic Mets fan is even like falling over themselves right now, because it is something that we didn't think was going to happen. Let's be honest. After the last homestand, we thought we were really in trouble. So, Hayden, how do you feel right now? And do you believe this team is actually either a good team right now, or their trajectory can be a lot better than what they've shown over the last 2 months of the season?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good and it's an interesting question. I mean, you said it, last homestand was a disaster. The Mets went on the road and they really found themselves. I think they're 11-4 since the little clubhouse locker room meeting. Like we said, we don't know what was said, but clearly it was something that ignited something in these guys and really got a lot of the stuff that was on their back off of it. Right now this is looking like a competitive team. We're getting the best of both worlds. We're seeing pitching, above adequate pitching. We're seeing quality starts. We're seeing good offense. We're seeing good situational hitting. We're seeing them hit with 2 outs. We're seeing them hit with runners in scoring position. Power, small ball as well. They're, fundamental baseball. And their defense has been good. And that's what good teams do to win ball games. If you're going to, we've seen it when they pitch, they don't hit. When they hit, they don't pitch. That hasn't been the case the last 2 weeks for the Mets. They've been, starters are going 6-7 innings, 5-6 innings, you could say. And, they're scoring a solid 5-6 runs. And like I said, this is a team, if you have good pitching, you don't need to score 20 runs, 10 runs, whatever. but right now we're getting the best of both worlds. Really, there's not much negative on this team right now, maybe minus like Jeff McNeil and Jake Diekman. There's really not a whole lot to complain about. Everyone 1 through 9 is contributing in some way or form, and that's simply enough how you win ball games. If we're going to go out there and the pitching is only going 3 2/3, 5 runs, and we're going to see Jason Bay, Ike Davis, and Ryan Church, yeah, you're not going to win many games. I mean, it's as simple as that. Everyone's going to leave the ballpark. You could have as many cookie, hot dogs, whatever as you want. It's not, everyone's going to leave. But, to get to the good point is everyone's contributing. Lindor's been looking great. A very encouraging series from Nimmo and Alonso. They're looking great. Vientos is cooling off a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I don't think everyone expected him to be hitting 350, 300 the whole season, but he got a hit today, so I'm not going to, completely kill him. But he's looking a little bit, we'll see how he gets. But the man of the hour is JD Martinez. I mean, that dude is something else. I mean, 1 year, what is it, 10 million, 15 million the Mets are paying him? I mean, it's a shame. I really hope the Mets do buy at the deadline if they continue to do the way they are, because JD Martinez, he's the best hitter on the team. And we saw it when he first started. He signed late, so he missed the first 20 games of the season. But then when he came here, for the first 2 weeks, he was a little bit cold, and then we saw him go the other way and pull the ball. And that is a very dangerous hitter. And we saw it. He's had like 4 home runs to the opposite field. And pulling the ball, JD Martinez is a dangerous, dangerous thing. And, we talk about, protection in the lineup, yada, yada, yada. Well, Martinez is that guy. He's clutch. He's a great cleanup hitter, and he hits for power. JD Martinez is, if there's a spotlight of tonight, it's 100% JD Martinez. So, like I said, just to put a cap in everything, Mets are looking good. I'm not like 100%, but bought back in. I'm not like at a 10. I'd say I'm at a solid 7. We'll see what they could do against the Rangers. They've been slow. The Cubs, they've been slow, and then obviously the red hot best team in baseball, New York Yankees. So, we'll see. I definitely think next stream from now will be 100% definite answers, I would say. But super impressed. This team has really been able to turn it around since their clubhouse meeting. They're at rock bottom. And, Cohen's team, you can't have that. I'm sorry. Richest team in baseball. I'm sorry, you can't. So, I'm happy they were able to turn it around. So just got to keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we wanted this team to show some fight, show some heart, show some balls, show some guts. They've done that. And it's hard to kill a team or players that have been doing it. You know what? They're picking each other up now, right? Vientos is starting to get cold. Look, Alonso and Nimmo are starting to pick up. That's the difference, right? All the crooked numbers at the top of the lineup now looks a hell of a lot better when the bottom of the lineup's not doing nothing, right? It helps. The Mets lost a lot of games in the beginning of earlier in the year because the top of the order weren't putting up those crooked numbers and the bottom of the order were doing their job. It's a lot easier to win ball games when your top boys are doing their job, and the top boys did their job today. And Chris, I'm gonna get with you right now because I was hoping you were able to come on the post game because I was jacked up. I was excited. I had a lot of people in the chat. It was awesome. But talking back and forth to people with some people when you're excited and to have that feedback back and forth is great. So I want to get to you how you're feeling right now. And, what game really got you believing in this series that, wow, we might actually sweep this series? Was it yesterday or was it game 1, the way they played and the way they fought in that close game?
That's a great question. And like I said, I apologize. I couldn't make the post game. Was really trying to, but listen, that was I would have been absolutely hype on there. There's no reason not to be hyped about this team. And when you have Hayden telling you he's 7 out of a 10 bought back in, you're doing something good. You're doing something good. So I'm gonna just say that right now. But no, I really do think that really encouraging signs. I think once I saw Jose Quintana go out there and take the ball and perform really well to his standards, right? When all of my sort of worries were about how he was going to hold up against that Padres lineup, that's when I kind of believed. I was like, okay, listen, we hold on to this game. I feel really good. Don't care that Dylan Cease is on the mound tomorrow. Tyler McGill has had a shaky start last couple go rounds, but he has been putting batters away. And we talked about that on the post game as well, Rob, you and I, about Tyler McGill and what kind of confidence he can carry into this matchup against Dylan Cease. Now you see it, 7 earned runs for Dylan Cease, 7 hits. The Mets offense got to him. It was great. This team is clicking on all cylinders. And what have we asked earlier in the season? It's been bottom of the lineup, your Harrison Baders, your Mark Vientos, your Tyrone Taylor's carrying the team, right? And providing some spark for this lineup when your guys up top weren't doing that. Then you slowly start to see, and I don't say slowly because I think that he has caught maybe some flack, at least what's been popping up on my timeline, especially when he first got to this team. But JD Martinez has definitely been, to Hayden's point, this team's best and most consistent hitter so far this season. And I just want to make sure that everyone is aware of that. Maybe outside of Starling Marte, because he's been very consistent as well. But JD Martinez's actual impact with the doubles and the home runs, especially as of recent, has just spark plugged this team. But also, so has Francisco Lindor in that leadoff spot. Ever since that team meeting, they put him in the leadoff spot. That man, one way or another, whether he's hitting doubles, hitting singles, he's got a couple home runs under his belt here in this series. He's getting on base at a very high clip as well. I wouldn't want to say it's Nimmo-esque from that leadoff spot, but you see the at-bats, left-handed and right-handed. He's working counts, and I know you love when these hitters work counts, Rob. He is working counts, he's drawing his walks, and he's not expanding his strike zone like Pete Alonso has done maybe before today. That has been my biggest gripe with Pete Alonso, and maybe even more so Brandon Nimmo, who I'll get to here in just a second because he is absolutely phenomenal. It's about knowing the strike zone and not expanding it. Part of that is pitch recognition, which we say countless of times. And then the other half is just straight discipline. There's certain times where you see a floating curveball or a floating sweeper, and you see it at the top of the zone. You're getting ready to whack it, and all of a sudden, this is the major leagues, it breaks last second into the other batter's box, right? And that's kind of hard to sort of see, I guess, because I know my eyes are definitely not equipped for any sort of major league pitches when it's whizzing by you at 97, 98. So I can imagine how hard it is for them. But no, just better play discipline in general is what I'm seeing with this team. And like I said, it doesn't matter what the result is. It does matter what the result is, but what matters most is the process of how you get to that result, right? You can have bad processes and still come out with good results sometimes. But the key to consistency is having good processes, which is a good plate discipline, good pitch recognition that will more often than not translate to better at-bats and better results. And that's exactly what we're seeing, the night and day difference here in this lineup that we saw in this Padres series, first and foremost. Now, like I said, Brandon Nimmo, Pete Alonso, obviously, listen, I'm going to say this right now. Pete Alonso, I don't care if you agree with me or not. I know some people are going to disagree with me about this, but this man hit a go-ahead 3-run home run, if I'm not mistaken, today. And I still see that it didn't matter. It didn't matter because it wasn't clutch enough. It wasn't important enough. I'm like, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? He had a go-ahead 3-run home run. Yes, he's been absolutely crappy, shitty, whatever you want to say. Absolutely, 100%. I'll never disagree with that because that guy's at-bats have been bad. But come on, that home run was much needed today against a formidable pitcher in Dylan Cease to keep this offense rolling and to continue putting up runs on the board when this obviously bullpen, in hindsight, right? Because hindsight's always 2020, when this bullpen needed it the most, because the Padres cut it to 1 there, I believe, in that 8th inning. So listen, like I said, all around, Brandon Nimmo really, outside of JD Martinez, obviously, the one guy that needed to get this lineup going, right, and break out of his slump was Brandon Nimmo. When Brandon Nimmo is hitting in this lineup, whether he's getting on base, hitting doubles, or hitting home runs, it doesn't really matter. Whatever he's doing, if he is not producing, this lineup suffers greatly. And I will say this because I always come to the defense of Pete Alonso, man. I always do, right? But I will also call a spade and tell you when he's not performing well. This lineup, when Nimmo's at the top of his game, is a lot better when Pete Alonso is at the top of his game. For me, the overall impact of Brandon Nimmo's presence in this lineup, especially at the 2-hole, the 3-hole, wherever they put him, that's not the leadoff spot. If he is going to set automatically JD Martinez up, and JD Martinez doesn't need any setting up. We know that. He can do it single-handedly, and he did in that Marlins series, obviously, for that 2-1 walk-off win. But he, by virtue of where he's hitting in the lineup, will also set up Pete Alonso for success. Listen, all I've wanted to see to round this rant off, I've wanted to see this lineup for so long just click on all cylinders, top of the lineup, bottom of the lineup, everybody. And that's exactly what we saw today. Shout out to my guy, Luis Torrens, as well. My backup catcher. Everyone's backup catcher. That dude is a dog. I don't know what kind of voodoo magic David Stearns had to work to bring him in here from the Yankees and give up Omar Narvaez and some cash considerations. It was wizardry. Whatever David Stearns did and said on that phone call with Mr. Cashman and the Yankees, wizardry. I don't know. That could be like one of the more important midseason moves that we've seen this Mets team make in a lot of years, right? Maybe since like Yoenis Cespedes. But anyways, I digress. Luis Torrens' dog. This lineup finally showing that dog in them. And we get a sweep, 5-1 the homestand. I'm feeling great. Nothing can bring me down. And we're rolling to Texas strong against the defending World Series champions. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
Absolutely. And talk about clutch. That Luis Torrens home run was huge, big. Like it started that 30+ thousand at Citi Field, so they got real quiet when they were down by 1 run, the Padres, and it wasn't looking pretty. And when Luis Torrens hits that home run, that's a clutch home run right there. That is a hell of a home run. I mean, out of all people, Luis Torrens, a backup catcher, a guy that really didn't even play anywhere and wasn't able to stay on teams, and we get him for cash considerations, and he's been amazing. Like, let's be honest, he's been amazing. And you know what? Everything that is working right now. Everything that Mendoza's doing seems like it's working. Who Stearns is bringing in seems like it's working. Everything's clicking right now. The chemistry, the camaraderie, the teammates actually looking like they're having a fun time right now, right? Don't care if your friends off the field. I don't care. After you leave the clubhouse, you can curse out each other. I don't care. But that camaraderie, that love of a teammate and gotten their back is huge. And again, that Luis Torrens home run, man, that got me pumped. Like I was like, I screamed as loud as I possibly could because that was awesome. That was really, really awesome. And listen, we're gonna get to the next guy right here to round up the sweep in the homestand. Hector, the only one who lives in New York right now, so you feel the vibes. You get more of the vibes up front and personal, unlike the three of us. Unfortunately, I think we would all love that. Just that we're all a little bit down south. But listen, heck, I know you're rolling right now. I know you're feeling good. You're singing. You got these Mets of 2022 towels in the background. I got like 10 of them around somewhere as well. What are your thoughts of this sweep and the 5-1 homestand? I know you're pumped, man. What about it?
No. My thoughts are I'm actually trying to process everything you guys are saying. Agree with so much of it. But listen, we came into the series last time we were doing the roundtable and all of that, talking, looking ahead and saying, 4-2, 5-1. We got to go out there and sweep the Marlins, take at least 2 from the Padres, and instead that was flipped. You know what I'm saying? They come back from London after splitting, out there with Philly and having swept the Nats, and they lose that first game, and they look like a little lethargic or whatever. And you think, oh, maybe he's a little jet, like whatever the hell it is, or is it just them coming back to Citi Field? So it was like, oh my gosh. But credit to them, they bounced back, they win those next 2, and then come out here and pretty much handle the Padres all series. I mean, I'm not going to say that because there were some close games. JD had to win it late that Friday night, which I was there for. That was great. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to make it to the other 2 games. I wish I could have been there today. I almost went. But yeah, man, I see My guy Brad says he glad Hector's not wearing that McNeil shirt. Well, you know what? Today, this morning, I said I'm gonna rep Pete today. And if we could do standing ovations for guys, why can't I wear a T-shirt to support my guys when they struggling? So I've been trying to support my guy McNeil, who's been catching a lot of heat, rightfully so. Even from me, who's a big McNeil fan, right? He's been catching heat, rightfully so. But as long as these guys are Mets, I'm always gonna root for them guys. As upset as I get with them, as hard as I may be on them, sometimes who cares, right? Who the hell are you, Hector? Who the hell cares if you? But I come here and I talk trash all the time. I call it right. I do what I do, and I critique these guys, but I also give them credit when they play well. And I also support them. I always say that, man. You guys see me critique these guys, just watch me at a game. Just go with me to a game or see me at a game, and you see me there every batter, like, yo, let's go, let's do this. Every pitcher, like, yo, let's get this out. Whatever the case, even out of Stinker, who I can't stand. Out of Stinker's on the mound, like, yo, let's go, out of Stinker. But stop me from calling you out of Stinker, right? So today was like, okay, Pete, it's time to wake the hell up, And it was good to see him immediately in that first inning get a chance and come through and hit that home run, for him, for the team, for the fans, you know what I'm saying, for everybody. And listen, we just won the first 2 games. I know we're all thinking, okay, what are we going to do now? Because the MO of this team has been this year, if they win the first 2, they go ahead and they lose that 3rd game. They can't complete the sweep. You know what I'm saying? Not even just so much this season, but it has been the case this year. Well, actually, it's been a little bit reversed, right? They've been winning a lot of times the last game. But anyways, the case is you wanted to complete the sweep. You had these guys there. Rob, I was listening to you yesterday. What was it, the pregame or postgame, whatever the hell it was. And you were right, and you were talking about, yo, the Padres going to be ready to jump on that bus. And Tatis looked like he was on the bus the whole weekend, honestly. But today he was definitely on that bus. What he had, like 3 Ks, 4 Ks, or whatever it was. Drew Smith, who had me nervous as hell. Somebody said it here. Drew Smith still makes me nervous. Me too. Drew Smith still makes me nervous too. Drew Smith got him there. What was in the 8th inning with a strikeout? But like CP would say, man, we were able to put all aspects of the game together pretty much. Yeah, the bullpen struggled a little bit today, whatever the case may be. Everybody wants a DFA, Diekman. Okay, who's going to be our lefty guy, guys? Come on, we got to relax with this DFA guy stuff. Like, yo, guys are not going to be perfect all season. Somebody mentioned Vientos. I said it on this roundtable when Vientos was going off. I did a video when everybody was saying, oh, Vientos is my 3rd baseman. Like, yo, guys, let's slow down. He's doing well, and he might eventually be our DH or whatever the hell it may be. But he is going to have a slump. And that's okay. That's okay. Now we want to see is how long does it take for you to come out that slump? How do you handle yourself? Now, are you able to make adjustments that the league has made to you? You know what I mean? They're throwing you a lot of breaking balls. Are you going to lay off of them? We heard, I think it was Gelbs talking about yesterday, how this offseason he was working really hard on breaking balls and had the machines. And even now during the season, has the machines throwing him breaking balls at high speed and high velocity fastballs and stuff like that. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm really happy for Pete, guys. I'm really happy Pete broke out. We're still waiting on McNeil. Nimmo's been the last few days breaking out. So good to see him continue it. And good to see Lindor, man. Lindor set the tone today again. Got us started. You know what I'm saying? Listen, credit to him. I've been very critical of Lindor because this is what I expect. This is what we need. This is what we want. Not just from him, from all of them. But when you criticize, oh, you're a hater, you're this, you're... No, I'm a freaking fan that believes that these guys can be good. That's why this whole year, and that's why I came to a point where I was like, you know what? I don't want to hear about this trade deadline stuff. I don't want to hear about the offseason. We get there when we get there. We'll take worry about it when we get there. You know what I'm saying? Right now, as long as I have these guys and this owner keeps telling me we expect to make the playoffs, this president keeps telling me we expect to make the playoffs, these players are telling me they expect to make the playoffs. Okay, so do it. We have good players, guys. These guys are good. I know Pete Alonso, he's been horrible. They've all been very bad this year, especially together at the beginning of the season, right? But what does this shirt say? What does this shirt say? Pete called game, right? We try to talk like Pete is trash. Pete's never been clutch. This was clutch. Pete won Rookie of the Year. You know what I'm saying? Pete has been good at New York. We want to throw him in a dumpster because he, along with everybody else, has been struggling lately for whatever reason. Whatever the hell is going on with these guys. They need to all figure it out. And maybe this is it. Maybe this is not. Like I was saying before, because I was going to say, shout out to Lindor with the team meeting. You know, we're talking about who's the leader, who's not the leader, who's the leader, who's the leader. Well, he has stepped up and become the leader. With Nimmo by his side, I don't know what the hell Peter's doing, and my man Alvy's going to be the next leader. And we're going to talk about him in a little while. I don't know if you guys are going to talk about him, but I'm sure I'm going to talk about my guy Alvy. I don't give a shit what Alvarez does at the plate right now, but we'll talk about that. But shit, and I drove myself crazy and lost my own train of thought. Bottom line is, what is it now? 12 and forces a team meeting, this and that. All the numbers you want. I don't know why it's happening. Maybe it's the weather. Maybe it is the meeting. Whatever it is, I'll take it. Like I was talking to my guy, and I know people don't like this guy. I don't give a shit. I'm here for all Mets fans. You a Mets fan, I'll mess with you. You know what I mean? We're not gonna always agree, but it's not personal or anything like that. So I mess with my guy Joe and Clark. I talk to Joe almost every other day, right? I'm like his therapist, guys. He calls me, and you guys think he's everything he writes, what you guys hear on the radio is the same way when he calls me. I just listen. Go on your rant, Joe, and then we'll talk. You know what I'm saying? And we're talking today. And he's like, oh, heck, I know we won these games, but, you know, it's ugly. We're just getting hits. It's just JD. It's just this. I said, you know what, Joe? We've lost these games earlier in the year. So you rather win these games or you rather lose them? I'd rather win them while hopefully these guys figure things out, which we've seen that they're kind of figuring things out, right? We saw some progress when Lindor went to leadoff. We've seen a little bit of progress now, even in the small games that JD's gone to hit third.
Yep.
So I'm not going to complain about winning. Rob, you mentioned it before, and I'll wind it down here before I take over the whole show. I should have done my whole show. I'm kidding. But you said before, Hector doesn't like the wild card. Hector doesn't like this. Doesn't like looking at it. Because I'm not going to look at standings in April, May, and even right now, especially when I see the way the team is playing, right? But I know what's going on. I know the league sucks overall. But it's like I told my guy Mez today early on X. He wrote something about thank goodness for the NL, you know, being so bad, whatever. I said, you know what? Oh, he said something. I don't know what the hell he said. And I said, he said something like, oh, unbelievable that the Mets are still in play, whatever. And I was like, yeah, because the NL sucks. But you know what? I'd rather be the best of them scrubs. Be the best of the bums. If that's what it takes, and then whatever happens, happens. You know what I mean? Now, if they lose and this team starts selling off and we start selling players, then we change our objective, our approach, whatever the case may be. As long as I have these guys on my team, I want to win ball games. And I'll end with this. I know for a lot of people, and everybody can, you know, you fan your way you fan. I'm not telling you how to fan. I'm just telling you what I think about what I hear. When somebody has a good game, I'm tired of hearing, oh, that's good for his trade value. That's not my concern right now.
Yeah, that's not. I hate that as well. I do.
You win a few games. Oh, I'm scared about what this front office is gonna do. That. Oh my God, I didn't even turn my light on. I don't know. You guys don't want to see me bright, anyways. Just look even uglier. You win a few games. Oh, I don't trust what this front office is gonna do. They're gonna go by. To hell with that crap. I trust these guys. Listen, like I told Joe again this morning. Yo, Joe, David Stearns has not screwed up a trade deadline for us. He hasn't even had it. So can we give him a chance?
Yes.
David Stearns has not screwed up an offseason for us. They told us what they were going to do this offseason. They had an approach. We may not have liked it. We may not have liked the approach, but when you look at most of what he's done, it's been good enough. The reason why we've struggled is the same reason Rob mentioned earlier, and we've been talking about for a few years. Because my guy Pete and Lindor and Nimmo and McNeil weren't holding up the end of the bargain. And JD got a late start. I was critical of the whole JD thing, getting late start and at first not doing nothing. There was a stretch there where he kept coming up with men on base. He would get a hit in the first inning. First 3 innings, he was batting almost 400. After that, he was batting on low 200s. It was driving me crazy. So like I said, I was being critical. LFGM, baby. Let me shut the hell up.
All right, so that's the end of the show, guys. Hector talked about everything already, but
honestly, it could be. Might as well.
We let Hector go. That's the whole point. We let him go. There's no point in stopping him. That's why he's so good. God. All right, so yeah, and listen, Hector, to talk about what you talked about earlier about Pete Alonso, I don't want to throw him in the garbage can. I want to throw him in the recycling bin. Besides that, I just wanted to let you know, recycle that 2019 Pete Alonso. Take that shit out.
We could recycle him when he comes
absolutely,
back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
not swinging at that ball in the batter's box over there. You know what I'm saying? I'm down
with
that.
But you know what? Did you see the big deep breath he took after turning first base after he hit that 3-run bomb? It was like the weight of the world.
Missed the 3-run bomb.
So
his body felt like
the weight of the
progress
came off to him. The weight of the world, it felt like just came off his shoulders, man. And it was awesome to see. Listen, I'm not rooting against Pete Alonso. I wouldn't be a fan of the Mets, right? I root for the jersey in the front. I can care less who hits that home run. But look, the Mets ain't going anywhere.
For sure. And a little behind the scenes here, because we were having this conversation earlier. Us in our chat, us four of us have a group chat. We have tons of fun. You know what I'm saying? Hayden drives me crazy sometimes, but I like the kid. Yo, guys, Hayden is like a distant cousin to Joe and Bobby. Like,
yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Hayden's down here, but oh man, sometimes like, dude, somebody needs to take your phone. All in fun. Oh, crap. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, so what I was saying earlier is, like, sometimes I'll come here and I'll say, it doesn't really happen if I say this name, so I'm going to say this name. Gosh, you got to be careful, heck. But I'll say something critical about Lindor, and then the response is, oh, but how about Pete? How about all of them? Damn it. Oh, well, Lindor does this, Lindor does that. Peter, I'm not putting these guys against each other. You know what I'm saying? I need them all to work together.
Correct.
That's what I want.
And that's what we're saying.
I don't care about putting them against each other, comparing them. No, that crap. I need them both and every single one of these guys on this team to pull that rope in the same way, whatever the hell that shit is.
Look, that's what we've been talking about. That we wanted to see. We want them to start working as a team, playing together as a team. There's too many playing individually where they're like, oh, look, that guy's playing great, nobody else is. And it's like a tug of war. Who's gonna get the spotlight today? And it's never been about the team, it's been about the individual players. And I hate that shit because you ain't winning ball games with individual stats, one over here, one over there. If you put those, if you work together as a team, look how easy it is to win a ball game, right? The offense clicked so good today and have been over the last couple of weeks, even with some guys not playing well, they've still been picking them up. And that's what I love about that. So, Chris, I'm going to get to you right now when it comes to the Rangers right now coming up. We don't have an off day, which I think is very good for us. Momentum on the plane, momentum off the plane in Arlington, facing the world champs. They haven't played well this year. Their offense has been struggling. Ardalis Garcia has been absolutely putrid this season. Not the same player we've seen last year, specifically in the playoffs. So, Chris, what do you want to see in this? They've been playing well on the road. What do you want to see from this Mets team on the road? Specifically, a team that's not playing well right now. Where do you want to see this Mets team? Like, where do you want them to see to do better? And what is it going to take to take 2 out of 3? Because that's what we're looking for. Series wins, right? Sweeps are great. We would take it every day of the week. But series wins are where we need to be at. That is the limit right now. So, Chris, what are your thoughts on that Rangers series coming up the next 3 days?
First 2 games, I mean, it's going to be about the offense for the Mets, right? I mean, we got Peterson, Sevy, and Manaea, if I'm not mistaken, going for us in this 3-game set. I think it's a 3-game set, if I'm not mistaken, with the Rangers before the Cubs. But we got those 3 guys on the mound. But when I look at their starting pitchers, I'm looking at the first 2 games in right? I believe it's John Gray and who's the other guy that's having a really good season so far? Lorenzen, who's a free agent this offseason as well. So that guy's got a 2.96 ERA, Lorenzen, right? When we were kind of debating whether the Mets are going to go after Lorenzen after it was like late in the starting pitching market, he's pitching to a 2.96 ERA right now. So I mean, you can't really argue that. And Mr. John Gray as well, one of their free agent acquisitions, I believe the offseason prior to last, is pitching to a 2.17 ERA. So those 2 guys have got it going, but I want to see more offense, man. I really do want to see the consistency. I will say this word a million times before this season ends, because until they prove to me that they can be consistent, which hasn't been proved yet, regardless of a 5-1 homestand, the jury's still out on that. I want to see them go out on the road where they've been at least historically better in terms of actually hitting a baseball and producing runs is on the road versus at home. So continue this barrage of runs. You finally got over the hump here in terms of producing runs at home in front of the home crowd, right? And you need to continue that against two guys that really you think of as like mid-tier pitchers, maybe even lower echelon type pitchers, but are having really good seasons for one reason or another so far this season. So that's what I want to see. But one thing I did want to point out as well is the bullpen, right? We could talk about starters all we want, right? I got to see more out of Sean Manaea than one good start. I got to see more out of Jose Quintana than one good start. The jury's still out on those two guys, and I'm still not heavily convinced and persuaded on those two guys. But I will give them a chance this series. And yeah, exactly, Hector. I know we're on the same page, same wavelength here. The bullpen is what I want to see, though, because one guy that we honestly haven't been talking about, and it's really a shame because we crapped on him for so long and we wanted to boo him out of here. And we didn't know if the bullpen was an option for him or not. But we also were like, well, this is David Stern's guy, so he's probably not going anywhere. How freaking good has Adrian Hauser looked out of the bullpen for this damn team? Now, I didn't watch him pitch today. I know that he did really well, and taking him out of the ballgame was a mistake in a lot of people's eyes. Listen, I was out and about. A lot of people, Daniel hit me up on Twitter, was like, is Mendoza trying to lose his ball game or not? Because why is Adrian Hauser not back in this game, or why is he out of it? And I was just like, I'm not watching right now, but I believe you because Adrian Hauser has been A1 top tier in this role as a hybrid long man reliever for the Mets. And it's not a long man reliever when the Mets are getting killed in a ball game or they are killing another team in a ball game. It is crucial times throughout a ball game, right? Doesn't matter what type of lead it is, you can go out there and rely on Adrian Hauser to get you 2-3 innings of scoreless good baseball. And that's exactly what this Mets team has needed. Now, we talk about lefties, and Hector mentioned Jake Diekman. You know what? We mentioned Manaea. I said I'm still not sold on him. Let's say we see a Sean Manaea that goes out there and is absolutely putrid this series as a starter as well. Maybe you transfer him into his old stomping grounds that we saw him do well and thrive in San Francisco, maybe over to the bullpen, and you pull the plug a little early on Jake Diekman. So I think that would be the next pivot in my eyes. But you know what? I want to continue to see this bullpen management because you know what? We talked about this on the postgame or the pregame, Rob. Not sure which one it was. I gave you all my preference in 6 and 7, those 2 innings right there. Adrian Hauser wasn't included in that because Adrian Hauser is a special, unique case that can get you more than 2 innings of work, and he'll continue to be used as that. But you got to figure out between Drew Smith, Adam Ottavino, and this partially goes into my point here of my poll that I have up in my live chat right now. If you're not watching on my YouTube, I have a poll, and it says, who is the most reliable early innings bullpen guy that you entrust in so far? I have Reed Foley up there. I have Drew Smith, and I have Reed Garrett, and I forgot who the other option is. Anyway, sorry, I just made it, and I'm already forgetting. But there's a certain method to the madness that has to happen in this bullpen that I think that you can't mess with, and you can also sort of play around with in terms of the early innings guys. You can't mess with the back two. Right now, the way it's going, you can't mess with Edwin Diaz as your closer, and you can't mess with Daniel Nunez as your setup guy. Those two guys remain consistent because those guys, right, Edwin Diaz, I don't want to jinx the guy, man. But this guy, ever since coming off the IL and his 2 appearances, right, it's maybe too early to tell if we're going to get this version over the long run of Edwin Diaz. But this guy has been electric, and his fastball velo is top tier again, right, at 100, 101 miles per hour, etc. But what do you do in the 6th and 7th innings? Because you have a plethora of options there. You know what? I trust Sean Reed Foley probably the most out of any of those guys. I would say Reed Garrett and Sean Reed Foley are probably even on my trust scale right now. I know Reed Garrett has had a little bit of a downward slide. I understand that. I think that if you throw him in a consistent 6th or 7th inning, he will do and pay dividends for this team. But you can also give that to Sean Reed Foley. I think I trust those two guys light years ahead of Adam Ottavino and Drew Smith. Right? So, how does Mendoza continue to utilize these guys on different days when you have to account for maybe an off day for one guy? Who do you pivot to? What is the tier of confidence for Carlos Mendoza? Because us fans, obviously, the clear answer is Sean Reed Foley, Reed Garrett, and then you pivot to Drew Smith and Adam Ottavino. But is Carlos Mendoza thinking that same way? When you have a 2-1 ball game, 3-1 ball game, whether you're winning or losing in those crucial 5th, 6th, 7th innings, who can you rely on to post zeros for you and get back into the dugout and hit some baseballs in hopes of either tying the game or extending that lead? That's what I want to know, and that's what I'm watching out for in this series in Texas, because that goes over a lot of people's heads. A lot of people are concerned about the starting pitching. I am too. I'm also concerned about the lineup and how they sort of get their acts together in terms of building that consistency. But those middle bullpen guys right now, that is probably the biggest question mark, not in terms of like, will they produce or they not produce, but how Carlos Mendoza will approach that. And that's more so of like a test. Not that Carlos Mendoza needs to be tested by any fan, because I think he has been, according to Hector, one of the MVPs so far this 2024 season, right? But that is where a good manager or maybe an average manager becomes a great manager, right? Especially in year one, is figuring out that personnel. We came into this season, Adam Ottavino had a little bit more of opportunities in higher leverage situations than I would have hoped for. Maybe Rob would have hoped for, seeing him in the 7th and 8th innings. As a manager, we understand he's a veteran. We understand he's been around the game a lot. He's had his successes and he's had his woes. We understand that. Are you capable of sitting there and telling Adam Ottavino, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I have a little bit more trust in the other guy right now. I'll give you the 6th inning, but I got to go with Nunez in the later innings, etc. That is the conversations that I'm sure are happening, but I need to see that translate onto the field. And I think they've been doing a great job so far. I know a little bit of a questionable decision today with the Diekman Hauser debacle, but that's what I'm watching out for. Sorry, that's probably enough of a bullpen rant for everybody in this chat. I apologize, but that's truly how I'm thinking as a Mets fan right now.
Yeah,
it was a great rant, CP. It was a great rant, and I'm actually upset at myself, but not good for you for bringing it up, because it's something that I also talked about Joe earlier. Like, yo, Joe, the biggest difference is that now the bullpen is doing a lot better. We have guys in better roles. You know what I'm saying? Garrett has dropped down a little bit more to where he belongs, even though he closed yesterday. You know what I mean? Because Diaz wasn't available. Hauser, whom when he was starting, I kept saying, why the hell is this guy starting when most of his success has been as a long relief guy, middle relief guy? Put him in that spot. They did that. Took him a while, but he's in a groove, and he's been huge for us. And I saw a lot of people complaining about why Hauser was out the game. Now, again, at that time, pigs, whoever the hell was messing with me and not letting me watch the game, whatever. So I don't know if it was lefties coming up or anything like that, but what came to mind for me was, didn't he just pitch Friday night like 3 innings behind Quintana or 2-3? You know what I'm saying? So how much do we expect him to go today? You know what I'm saying? I'm surprised he was even out there today after pitching as much as he did. So I could understand why they took him out. And I always say this, man. It's easy to sit on the couch and criticize the manager for bullpen moves and stuff like that. But we never really know what these guys are dealing with. We never really know who's available and who's not. And if they are, how much they're available for, who they're pushing, you know what I'm saying, and all that stuff. And the other thing I'll say to that is, when they execute, nobody complains. No, when they execute, nobody says, why was this guy in? Why was that guy in? Very rarely. Very rarely. You know what I'm saying? But as soon as they don't get the job done, then it's the manager's fault. And yes, CP, I have jokingly, not really jokingly, said Mendoza's the MVP, and obviously he's not a player. So let's call him the most valuable person on this team. To me, as a rookie manager, he's come in, He's been able to make tough decisions, whether it be with the bullpen, whether it be sitting guys out. He sat Jeff McNeil for a week, damn it. And it was convenient, yeah, because of the whole lefty crap and all of that stuff, the lefty pitcher, and that helped him out a little bit, but he still did it. You know, he's held guys accountable in his post game as far as pitchers and everything, talking about, yeah, they got to stop nibbling. They got to do this. They got to do whatever, you know. Like I said, he's made gutsy moves. He switched the lineup around. I don't want to hear this crap about, they don't give him the lineup. If you're still saying that stuff, you're just saying it because you want to say it. You're not paying attention to what the hell is going on. This guy's in charge of this team and what goes on in that clubhouse and what goes on that field. It is Carlos Mendoza's show. And I don't give a damn what nobody says. For a rookie manager, he's done a hell of a job. He's done a hell of a job.
100%.
Now, has he been perfect? No.
Yeah.
He's going to make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? He's made mistakes. But also, it's on the players. You know, yeah, you want to try to put him in a position to succeed. You guys want to tell me he didn't do that with Diekman today? Okay, maybe. We can debate that, whatever. I really don't want to get into that too much. But real quick, Rob, before you go, the last thing I want to say is, because I know this came from what I was talking about before, right? My guy Carlos, who makes it a point everywhere he goes, and any post a lot of posts I do to bring up how we cannot lose the focus of what this year is and how this team is not going to be the winning team. Carlos, we don't know who the hell the winning team is. Like I told you before, I'm glad you think that we're just going to flip the switch and 2025 is the year or whatever the hell you think the year is, and you think that every move we're going to make from this offseason forward is going to work out. Maybe, brother. All I know is it is June 16th. Right now, I'm worried about, let me try to look at the camera. I'm worried about June 17th. And then we're worried about 18th, 19th. The point is, brother, I understand. Like I said before, I understand. But I'm not going to focus on something that I can't control right now.
Yeah.
I can't control that right now. And I do trust that this front office and this ownership will do the right thing. If they feel they need to stand pat this year, because everybody, this is what I don't understand. This is what I don't understand. Jeff McNeil's a bum. Get rid of him. To who? Who wants a bum? Pete Alonso sucks. Trade him. To who? So we think these guys are trash. We want to get rid of them. And I'm not saying you, Carlos. This is not to you. This is in general. We want to get rid of them, but then we want the best value for them.
Yeah.
We have to get 3 top 10s, whatever the hell people throw out there. I don't get involved in that crap. I'm not a GM. I'm not a president. I'm just a fan with an opinion. And we know about opinions, right? Everybody has one. But I decide to share mine, and some of you people like to hear me go crazy. Anyways. But yeah, brother, we understand what's going on. But right now, we can only worry about the here and now. If this team reverts back to what they've been doing all year, I'm confident that they'll do what they need to do. But I still don't think they're just going to be able to just get rid of everybody that some people want to get rid of and get the best prospects, and that all these prospects are all going to come up at the same time, and we're just going to win 5 World Series in 12 years. I hope.
By them saying that, Hector, that means they have some degree of trust in David Stearns to be able to pull that off. So I don't know.
Exactly.
I guess they're trying to send a message that they do believe in this front office.
That's a great point. And like I did in my own show, and I talked about it in the roundtable. At the same time, man, like we want to continue to give up the vibe or the idea or the feeling that we're just a mess, that nothing can ever work out with the mess. We just have a losing culture, a dysfunctional culture. No, we need to show that there's something good here that people want to come and join. You know what I'm saying? Because some of these guys are still going to be around, right? Go ahead, Rob.
Well, heck, look, the Texas Rangers had a losing history. They never won a World Series. Why did everybody believe in them last year? Right? The 2015 Mets. What belief did we have? We had Eric Hamill cleaning up, right? We had that rain delay against
When you say everybody believed in the Rangers, what do you mean?
Talking about, like, everybody was talking about them, like how they rolled through the playoffs and like, oh, it was destiny and
No,
that.
But I mean in the sense of being able to attract players, though, Rob. I mean, like I want us to be
Yeah,
able to
no,
attract
no,
players because they like what's
that's
going
fine.
on here,
But
you know?
you know,
And I know
I
just give them
hate
money.
when
Like all they want is money, but nah.
they all want money. I don't want to hear that nonsense because the Texas Rangers,
Yeah, I know.
the Texas Rangers had no history. Why is everybody going to Texas? They paid the guys the most money. Seager, Simeon, they paid the guys the most money. Jacob deGrom, right? They paid the guys the most money. Right? I don't care what anybody says. It doesn't matter what the poll said about teams or
I
what
didn't even
teams
look at
people
that
like.
stuff, bro.
It's not even crazy. It's a waste of time. I'm telling you right now. I don't care about the offseason right now. I don't care about free agency. I don't care about Pete Alonso's free agency. I don't care. Right? The fact of the matter is, if you're a Mets fan or a fan of a team and you're kind of in contention, don't talk about 2025 until you actually have a reason to talk about 2025, like after the deadline when we know if they're going to be buyers or sellers, right? If they're buyers or staying pat, we know they're going to try to make the playoffs. So fuck 2025 until the offseason. If we suck the rest of the way and the deadline is sell mode and it's a fire sale, we can talk about 2025 then. But right now, 2025 is irrelevant. Juan Soto, possible free agency, irrelevant. Any pitcher we might get on the free agent market, irrelevant. Pete Alonso, free agency, all is irrelevant because, like you just said, Heck, June 17th is all we care about, or at least most of us care about.
June 17th. And which Gray is this? Which Gray is this? John Gray? This is John Gray or Sonny Gray?
John Gray.
John Gray?
Yeah.
That's what we care about right
John
now.
Gray,
Austin is
Michael Lorenzen in the first two games, and and I was gonna bring that up. Heck, the Rangers have been pitching very well. We miss Evaldi, but Michael Lorenzen, John Gray, 2.17 ERA. Michael Lorenzen, 2.86 ERA. They've been pitching well. They've been losing and getting beat by a lot of bad teams, and they haven't been playing well because of their offense. It's similar to the Mets situation. They have been pitching extremely well. There's no run support. And right now, we're catching them at a good time. But that doesn't mean they're not going to break out on us. So we got to keep our guard up, and we got to keep it going because we can easily get shut down by this rotation very easily. And we can lose 2-1 games, 1-0 games very easily against this Rangers team. They've had one of the best rotations in baseball, and that's without DeGrom and Scherzer. They've been
what's their
good.
ballpark like? Is that like a hitter's park?
It's been a hitter's ballpark, but they haven't been hitting at all.
No, I'm thinking about us. I'm thinking about us staying hot and keeping it going. Right, we're going on the road, but we usually do well anyway. So
yeah, they got big gaps in there, so that might help us, especially the hot hitters in our lineup. The JD Martinez, who's a gap-to-gap hitter, that might help him a lot even more. Hopefully it works with Pete Alonso, who can hit that right center field gap, because that's when he's really getting going. If he hits that right center field gap. Hayden, I got to get to you. Met hat and all. The man of the hour.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean,
preview,
I think
what do you think about the Ranger series? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, it's a good day. There's no it's a good thing that they immediately play tomorrow. There's no off day, so they can keep the good vibes and the momentum carrying with them. Should hopefully be a happy flight and good flight to Texas. No doubt. But I think most importantly, I think the biggest thing, like we said, is going to be the bullpen. Like I said, this bullpen has been pleasantly very surprising this season. That is something that David Stearns is extremely well known for, is keeping, not so popular name guys, and they do their job. I mean, if you look at this bullpen, obviously like Chris said the move from Adrian Hauser to the bullpen has been phenomenal. He's been fantastic in the bullpen since being pushed there. Reed Garrett's looked good. He's come down to earth a little bit, but still. Drew Smith has been a pleasant surprise. Sean Reed Foley has been a pleasant surprise. Daniel Nunez came out of nowhere. I'll be honest, I'm a prospect guy. I didn't even know his name 4 months ago. I knew of it, couldn't tell you what he looked like. That was it. The bullpen has been very, very good. Minus like Ottavino and maybe a little bit of Diekman. I'm very confident with this bullpen to an extent. They just need to keep it going. The situations, like we said, everyone's kind of performing in the situation that they're supposed to. Some guys are getting moved around, like we said. Reed Garrett, he's probably not going to be your setup man. Obviously depending on the situation of the game. But the bullpen has been good. It'll be interesting to see, obviously, decent pitching matchups this upcoming series. Like we said, for both sides. But I think with the Mets, Peterson is going to be a big start for him if he can keep the good vibes and the momentum going forward. He hasn't looked horrible this season. I mean, I'll give him that. I mean, the walks have been lowered down extremely. His command of the strike zone has looked much more on point. He's been getting a lot more hitters to swing and miss and chase. So he hasn't been horrible. I mean, it's only, like I said, 16 2/3, so it's a small sample size. But, I'm not asking him to be, one of the best pitchers, but just be a serviceable number 5 guy, number 4 guy at least. So I think, going in, seeing Peterson, at least the quality start would be nice. 2 runs, 3 runs max. Severino, we know what he's capable of. And Minaya, I think it'll also be a big start for Minaya just because of the situations he's been in. I don't think we're quite ready to talk about a bullpen with him yet, unless we are going to get into the conversation of a guy like Christian Scott coming back, which, not to get Chris too excited, but yeah, I've kind of wondered why that exactly went down. I thought it was the whole London thing, but now that's kind of been in the past. But I guess we'll talk about that later. But most importantly, just win the series. I mean, that's all I could say. Keep hitting. Keep hitting with 2 outs, keep hitting with runners in scoring position, hold leads, keep, make the plays that need to be made. Fundamental baseball, and we could hopefully see a good series. The Rangers are literally the same as us. They have 1 extra loss because they played an extra game than us. But I look at the offensive stats. I look at the pitching stats. The offensive stats, to say for the least, are pretty much the same. When it comes to runs scored, home runs, average, OBP, slugging, guys like Seager haven't been super great this season. Simeon, Adolis Garcia, Wyatt Langford's been a decent surprise since coming back from the IL. He's young, so we'll see what he does for them in store. But the Rangers are definitely in a little bit of a World Series hangover, and it's plenty of time for them if you're a Rangers fan to get back on it. Look at last year, both teams that were in it. Someone wants to do a little research. What was both of their records this time last year? Probably wasn't very good. But as of right now, we'll have to see. I think it'll be a good series to watch for, but just keep the momentum riding. Like I said, go out there, quality starts, score runs, hit, situational. This team only is going to lose to themselves at this rate.
Well, I like that. Real quick, Rob, I just want to say, man, shout out to everybody up in here, man. All the comments. I looked on Twitter, X, whatever the hell you want to call it. Combined and CP, Rob, and myself, over 200 people watching. I don't know the numbers on YouTube, but I can speak for all of us, but I can say we appreciate you guys, man, and I hope you guys are enjoying yourself. And I do want to acknowledge just a couple of comments here real quick, but one that was funny. And listen, I think CP and I were the loudest with this, right? But my guy Christian Benoit says, didn't you guys say Jose was useless earlier this week and needs to be waived? I think CP touched on that. Listen, Christian, I want to be wrong. I don't want him to be useless. Like I said earlier, man, I'm going to critique all these guys, but at the end of the day, I want him to succeed. Timothy, should the Mets contend for a wild card? Hell yeah, why not? Don't listen to Carlos Ramos. He don't know what he's talking about with his don't lose focus. I'm just kidding. But yeah, why not? If it's there, why not? And as long as you have this team, you should have enough to be able to contend for a wild card, and whatever happens, happens. And the last thing from Sanders real quick, I think Scherzer just wrapped up his rehab assignment, so we won't see Scherzer. Obviously, we see the pitching here on the screen, but as far as is he pitching yet, I think he just did his last rehab start, so I guess we'll see where he goes from there. But go ahead, Rob. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, I think this series is very simple. The Mets are hot and the Rangers are not. It's very simple, right? We're raging hot right now with the momentum. The Texas Rangers are, even though they're world champions, they're trying to find themselves. Let them find themselves in later June and July when they're not playing us, right? Go in and foot to the floor, foot to the gas pedal, pedal to the metal, go right after it. That's it, right? You got Peterson, who it seems like he's figured things out ever since he came back from injury. Whatever it was, he's been looking good. He actually, has gone deep in games as well, which is nice to see. Severino has been our best pitcher, and Minaya had a really good outing the last time out, right? And I'm not going to say we have the pitching advantage because that's not fair to the Rangers pitching staff and the three guys we're facing, Gray, Lorenzen, and Haney. Haney has over close to a 5 ERA, so he's been a little on and off lately. But Gray and Lorenzen, it's going to be a tough 2 games. But what does Chris always say? What did most baseball fans ever say? But Chris says it a lot. Win game 1. You win game 1, you got 2 opportunities to win the series, and you start the momentum right away in the series. It's crucial, and Chris is always right on the money when he says that because it's 100% true. And look, that's not a an outrageous thing to think about. Like it's an obvious thing to say, but it's so fucking important. And Chris says it all the time to continue to beat it in Mets fans and everybody who is in the chat heads. Listen, we got to win that first series. Right? That Marlins series didn't start off very well, right? It wasn't looking good for us, but they found a way. You win game 1, it puts a team like the Rangers, who is already scuffling right now, they start to think and they start to, maybe squeeze that bat a little tighter. The same thing with the Padres I talked about, how mentally soft that team is. And let me not get into them anymore, right? Because we took care of business there, right? The Texas Rangers, right? Coming off a World Series championship, you see it a lot of times with teams. They have like a World Series hangover, right? And I'm not saying that's what this is, but it could be, right? They played a lot of extra games. It catches up to some players who've never done that before, right? Maybe they're just having a hangover. Good. You know what? Get even more fucked up when you play the Mets. How about that? That's what I would like to see. So overall, with this series preview, we're hot, they're not. Just do your job. Because if our guys at the top of the lineup do their job, I'm very confident we'll win this series. I'm not going to say we're going to sweep. That's greedy. I'd love to do that. But 2 out of 3 is what we need. Taking 2 out of 3, taking series wins is all you need to get back to 500 and to make sure that you're right in the area. Because I know, talking about the wild card and talking about games back and everything like that, some people might not care about it. But the front office really does, because their plan A and plan B relies on how many games back the Mets are in a wild card spot, because that's going to determine what's going to happen with this team, staying pat, buying, or selling. That's why it matters. That's why they got to keep on playing good, because if they don't, it's a very easy decision, and all he's got to do is open up the envelope to that sell plan and execute it. So our final thoughts to finish up the stream. Right, Chris, I'm going to finish up. I'm going to start off with you for the final thoughts of the stream. Overall, the best thing you've seen about this team, what you want to come, and what you got working with your channel, buddy.
Best thing I see about this team right now, probably the biggest confidence boost that I see, to tie between Brandon Nimmo getting going and Edwin Diaz coming back off the IL strong. The bullpen, when Edwin Diaz is on top of his game, is light years better than what we saw prior to him going on the IL. It's just plain and simple. 2, I want to keep this short, but guess what? A couple of streams ago, I believe it was their last round table, I had a watch. I had an invisible watch, and Hayden, with his last talking point, kind of sent a jolt right into my body when he mentioned Christian Scott. The deadline to bring up Christian Scott, right? The day to bring him up, the first eligible date was yesterday. He's still in the minor leagues. And we got sold on innings limit this, innings limit that. Listen, he started 2 times already since he got sent down, 9 collective innings. Now with the New York Mets for AAA Syracuse. Now, that could be a precursor to David Stearns planning ahead and being like, no matter what happens, I know Jose Quintana is not going to be here, whether it's in a couple weeks or at the deadline, I don't know. But that is a situation that I am always watching out for. I've exhausted that on this Roundtable podcast. I've exhausted that on my X account to anybody and everybody that would want to listen to me on that, because I'm just like, it doesn't add up to me. It doesn't add up to me. But anyways, nonetheless, I appreciate you all being here. It means a lot to all of us, like Hector said just a couple of minutes ago. It means a lot whether you're on X, over on YouTube, just you all being here, whether it's my live chat, whether it's Hector's, whether it's Rob's, it doesn't matter. as long as you all are watching and getting hype with us about these wins and about good baseball that we can finally sit here and talk about, that's what matters to us. So appreciate you all. A lot of Mets content on my channel right now. CP's Mets and Knicks. I do talk Rangers as well and Giants football when the season comes around. Do a lot of things on my channel here, but obviously it is June 16, 2024. Knicks and Rangers aren't in the picture anymore. So I'm strictly focused right now for the time being on the New York Mets and hopefully talking about them continuing to build off of this recent success in this homestand and push their way forward up the ladder into this wild card sort of standings. Because like you said, Rob, you said it perfectly. Hector said it as well. I can sit here and talk about the 2025 offseason. That's very easy to do when I project some moves that could happen, some switch rounds that could happen. But the bottom line is that guess what? We had a game today that we won, and we have a game tomorrow that we're trying to win, right? And we're trying to build off of. So what use is me talking about the 2025 offseason right now? That time is going to happen. That time is going to come, and we will approach that when it gets here. The time for that is just simply not right now. Hit that like button, hit that thumbs up. I appreciate it. Thank you for everybody that participated in the live chat poll on my channel. And until next time, I'm sure we'll be talking Mets here early in the week in this Rangers series. Rob and I are probably going to cook something up in terms of the pregame or the postgame, something of that nature. And just stay tuned. Hit that notifications button. You know where to find us. I appreciate you all.
Absolutely.
Let's go,
So, yes, sir. And CP's, Mets, and Knicks, subscribe to the channel, guys. All right, Hayden. Final thoughts on this Mets team going in on their 6-game road trip to Texas, starting it off, and the Cubs. What are your final thoughts? And let everybody know what's going on with your channel. I know the Mets channel. I know it's brewing, but I know you got other stuff in the works. So let everybody know what's going on after your final thoughts.
Yeah, what's going on? Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Mets Talk with Hayden is the name. I know I've been a little inactive on there. Don't worry, maybe I'll get a stream or a couple podcasts on there within the next couple weeks. Same stuff, news, analysis, recaps, all the stuff that we talk about on here. I did also create a Buffalo Bills channel, Bills Talk with Hayden. I've had about 3 videos on there. I've done actually pretty well. I'm actually shocked that it's doing pretty decent. So if you guys just like football in general, check that out. Football comes in about a couple months. We're about almost away. And then I'm also starting a hockey channel. I'm an Islanders fan, so I'll be starting that very shortly. I have the introduction. I know Chris isn't too pleased about that. I have the introduction panned out for that. So, yeah, Mets, Bills, Islanders, suspenseful, a lot coming up. So we'll see how that goes. But, yeah, Mets are doing well. Like I said, just keep riding with the momentum. They need to just, like I said, just play how they're playing now. The only team that's going to beat them is themselves.
Yeah.
I'm decently optimistic. Like I said, I'm at a 7. Maybe next year we'll get to an 8. That's the goal. LFGM.
Absolutely. So make sure you subscribe to Mets Talk with Hayden and his Bills Talk with Hayden as well. And the Islander channel that's coming up. Absolutely. So it's also fun. But last but not least, Heck, your final thoughts. And I know you're pumped. I know you're ready to go. And we're ready for this road trip. So what are your final thoughts, buddy? Heck, you're on mute.
My bad. I forgot I was coughing earlier. Yeah, man. Yeah, of course I'm pumped. Like, this is what I want. This is what I like to talk about. I don't want to talk about all of this other nonsense. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to talk about deadline and none of that stuff. I want to talk about games. You know what I mean? I want to talk about a play on the field. Whether it be how I see here in the comments. Starlin Marte is not a right field anymore. Starlin Marte looks shaky out there, but damn, he's still a good hitter. What are we gonna do? Is he gonna be a DH? My guy Intellectual's talking about, is he gonna be a DH pretty soon? That may be, but right now, listen, he's out there. Obviously we can't put him as a DH. Now we have JD. What are we gonna do? We're gonna sit JD? No. So maybe in the future, again, that's something down the line, right? That's something that we're thinking about because he still has I think 1 more year left on the contract or whatever the case may be. And guys, I've been neglecting to say this. I can't believe once again we're doing one of these roundtables and I have this damn Yankee game on in front of me. But at least they're losing today. Go Boston. Anyways. But yeah, so listen, man. whatever with all that stuff. Going forward now, because we do want to get out of here. It's what I always say, right? What are the numbers? 5-1 in the homestand, 12-4 since the meeting, 8-1, 8-2, 9-1 in the last 10. All of that good stuff. We've won now what? 3 series in a row, 4 series in a row, whatever the hell it is. We've taken maybe 3 steps forward, 2.5, 4, whatever you want to say. How many steps we've taken forward? Let's make sure we don't duplicate that going backwards now, right? Let's make sure now we don't lose the next 2 out of 3. The next, you know what I'm saying? We don't lose the next 2 series or whatever the case may be. You know, let's keep it going. So okay, maybe you lose a game, but don't lose 2 in a row. Don't lose that 3rd game in a row. Maybe you lose a series, but don't lose 2 series in a row, 3 or 4. You know. So, my bad. I just saw you here. Listen, man. I'm sorry, guys. I got to get personal here. Shout out to all you people that caught a glimpse of me on SNY.
Yeah.
Yo,
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that.
On SNY, yo. Shout out to my guy Daniel, who's talking about it here, the TV star. I ain't no damn star, but yo, man, shout out to you guys. Listen, not gonna lie, all of us here, right? If you see yourself on TV, it's a good feeling. Like, oh crap, that's me. Even if nobody notices, even you notice. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my gosh, they kind of glimpse of me at the game, and I've been lucky that this has happened a couple of times already. I mean, there was one last season where I was with my man Top, who don't want to mess with me no more. But anyways, I was with my guy Top. We were at the game, and I forget who it was, struck out Bryce Harper, and they caught me on camera doing the strikeout. You know what I'm saying? And that felt great. ESPN caught me going nuts, losing my mind. That they even mentioned, oh, look at the fans losing their mind, and I'm over here when Adestinko was blowing the game against the Yankees. You know what I mean? I forget what game that was. I don't even think it was against the Yankees, but it was a Sunday night game, and it was A-Rod and Michael K doing the game. So anyways, shout out to all you guys. I know these guys got to get out of here. I kind of got to go do a couple of things too. So I want to wrap it up. But again, man, thank you to everybody that's on here. If you're able to find my channel, I think Rob put a way to find it here before. The best way, if you care, you type in Blunt Thoughts, Hector at the end. I got to get better with that maybe, but I like the name Blunt Thoughts. And guys, it's not why everybody's thinking, yeah, I know I enjoy myself with this stuff, but it's also because of the way I speak, which some people, can't deal with it. But I've done a little bit of it. I do like to shout people out. Some comments I sent out, I'll do it quick, guys. But first of all, shout out to my guy Bartels who's in here too. My guy Daniel Bartels, man. But Daniel Cap Skeenan, you guys with these names, man. You mentioned Alvy before, and we talked about it earlier, right? And we didn't mention it. Yo, Alvy's not hitting right now. Again, like I told Joe this morning. But you know what? I was thinking I wanted to do a video this weekend. I just didn't have the time because I kept hearing first with Diaz talking about, oh, I just throw whatever my catcher puts down. He keeps talking about that. And while he was struggling, I kept thinking, damn, his catch is not there. He has Nito, who I think is okay, but is not, and Narvaez, and he's struggling with sequencing and all that. He comes back. He does a little bit better with Alvy, the whole pitching staff. We heard Quintana talk about it now recently after his start, and we heard Mendy, and even someone in the media said, hey, you're talking about Diaz's sequencing was better. Diaz, you know what I'm saying, does that have anything to do with Alvarez? And Mendy kind of tried to yeah, but, it's also, no, to hell with that. Listen, sometimes when these players put focus on something that they're deficient on, maybe something that they're good at, they take it for granted and it lacks a little bit. So maybe that's what's going on with his offense. At the same time, baseball, and especially the offense, is about timing. He's been hurt. So the timing is struggling a little bit. But as long as he keeps doing the damn thing behind the plate as a catcher, I'm good with that right now. Let everybody else pick him up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Let everybody else pick him up. So shout out to Daniel with that. Sanders, who said he's on my wavelength. He ain't quitting like Carlos Ramos. He's like, yo, trade deadline, go get a lefty back. I think he said, get rid of Scrabini, DJ Stewart. You know what I'm saying? He's talking about these should be the targets. I had to include it. I thought that was hilarious, CP. I had to include it. He talked about a lefty arm should be a target for the bullpen because everybody's tired of Diekman. So Yeah, I agreed with that. I wanted to shout that out. And Measy kind of talked about what I talked about before. Let's not flame out. We were in a hot streak before, went to Cleveland, we flamed out. Let's not flame out, like I just said. Let's not take 4 steps backwards. I just thought this was interesting. Davo said he should be player hitting coach. Maybe, but like I said, you haven't heard anything about Eric Chavez the last few days, right, guys? Nobody's talking about Eric Chavez and coaching under that nonsense. I think I already mentioned Quintana, Benoit and Quintana. And damn, Darren said something about JD. I don't remember what it was, but Darren always makes good points. With that, guys, once again, thank you so much to every single one of you. Look out for me. I'll put it in the comments here. I don't know if anyone answered. I'm thinking about doing one of those lives again. It was fun. We got lucky. We got lucky as hell at the end because it really wasn't fun for the most part. But let's say it ended fun. So I'm thinking about doing one again. Maybe one of these guys that join me, maybe I'll do it again by myself. Who knows? So let me know if you guys are down with that. Which game should we do? I'm thinking about maybe doing Sevy. What do you guys think in the comments? Should we do a Sevy game again, or should we move on to maybe Peterson and Mania? I don't know. Sevy's kind of my guy, so I wouldn't mind doing it with Sevy again. But yeah, guys, as always, LFGM, baby. June 17th is the next focus. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Absolutely, guys. So the round table, Mets homestand was 5-1, 5-game winning streak. Mets are on a roll right now, a ton of momentum, 4 games under 500, going to Arlington to face the Texas Rangers, a struggling Texas Rangers.
Hayden has a Mets hat.
Yes, and Hayden has a Mets hat. Breaking news, guys. Breaking news. All right, guys. So with that said, everybody in the chat, on X, on YouTube, whatever channel, doesn't matter. Thank you for tuning into another Mets Roundtable podcast with all of us. Thank you for all hanging out with us today on the best hour on YouTube. Everybody have a great night. Let's go Mets. Let's start a 6-game winning streak tomorrow against the Texas Rangers. Peterson on the mound against Gray. Let's go Mets. We'll see you next time, guys. Have a great night.
LFGM.
Mets.
You'll find a Mets fan. Let's go. This is a Mets year for all your Mets here. Let's